G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer. It's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. First off, Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
BP.
G'day all. Well, glue gun in hand. It's all happening in my little factory. It's a big week this week with the Infar X2 World. So I've been a bit head down, ass up, to be honest. So I don't know really what's going on in the world, to be honest.
As long as you're using the correct glue that makes the bond stick, as opposed to other manufacturers.
No, lots of research done there. No problems.
Yeah, good man. Let's bring in the other bloke who also does a lot of bonding work.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice,
The Bonder.
It's a good one. What a stares, me amigos. I could put that on my business card.
Nick the Bonder.
Chief
Nick the
Bonding
Bonder.
Officer.
Chief Bonding Officer.
I love it. Where are you,
Back in
boss?
Your old stomping ground, BP in Valencia. For the
Valencia.
weekend.
Valencia.
Checking in on some, some real top secret projects going on around the place. But
What are they, mate?
another week, another croc story. I've got to tell you that.
So many croc stories. I think we're going to be crocked
that
out.
one, yes. That'll be
Speaking of
coming.
which, all the top secret stories. So I was at the Wally Rockets the other day.
Yeah.
Just checking them out. And, the new 51-footer,
Yep.
Wally Rocket. Anyway, so I've climbed up to the back of the boat, having a look at the hull being laminated, pre-preg. Before you step onto the boat, like it's all obviously got to be very clean, very precise. You know this as good as anyone with what you're doing right now, BP.
Yep.
And there's a bit of pre-preg just flipped upside down with the sticky on it, just to, get all the dust and stuff off your shoes. It wasn't shoes, my friend. You kick off the shoes at the bottom, everyone's in Team Crocs.
Team Crocs.
Laminating the hull.
It's just a game changer. Game changer. I wonder if our guest that's sitting there waiting is going, what the hell's a croc? I wonder if he knows.
Chris, our special guest, he'd definitely know what Crocs
Yeah,
are.
I think he might.
I wouldn't surprise me that he actually wears them.
Yeah.
But just a quick shout out to you two, Sheilas. Happy International Women's Day.
Oh, yeah.
We'll chat about it in a bit coming up in hot time, but pretty apt with what's been going on this week.
Yeah,
in
it is, isn't it?
Specifically with Cole Brow.
And how's her timing? How is her timing? Do you think that was organised?
Amazing. We'll talk details, but not forgetting what Maiden is actually doing at the moment, crushing it in the Ocean Globe race in the last leg, and with Penduick close behind, skipper by Marie Tarbally. So it's all happening offshore for the ladies, and maybe there'll be a bit more chat about that soon.
Cool. All right. Well, shall we bring in our guest, boys?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. So obviously on the show, we've had a serious lack of Frenchies on the show, and it's not for lack of trying. They duck and cover if they find out they don't get to speak French. Like they don't like speaking in Aussie or English, except for everybody's boss, Bruno. Bruno, he loves a chat and he comes on. And so, it's been a goal of ours to get more people from the French scene involved. And then it occurred to me, my great mate, international, world-renowned photographer, class man, former international model, just everybody's friend, Christophe Favreau was in town, and he was here for the 18s, and he's not much longer in Australia. And I thought, you know what? I'll just pick up the phone. I've spent many a time in a dark room with that bloke, and he'll probably say yes. And he did. So, Christophe, welcome to Barkarati, buddy.
Mate, how are you?
Mate.
Yes, beauty.
It's meant to be g'day, mate. How are you?
Still working on my Aussie accent.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Well, it's better than my French accent. You and I both know that. So it's good to see you. We're really happy to chat to you, mate, because you represent one of the things that we've always wanted to talk about, which is the photography side. Like you get to see some
It's kind of taken for granted, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of taken for granted that it's such an important part of our sport.
Yeah, that whole communication.
Especially for sailing, which is sailing is a very graphic material, in my opinion. It's very generous with beauty. And it's very demanding on a physical point of view in certain conditions. So it's kind of very exciting way to do photography, in my opinion. At least that's how I like to do it. And I love sailing, so the combination of all this, and I like to travel, so you have to get to some areas, specific areas, to get some specific pictures. So all this combination for me it's nearly 20 years I'm doing this now, and I can't get fed up with it. I mean, it's getting more and more exciting. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you're right, Christophe. Like you've got the action element, the environmental element, and the physical element all coming together. And even if you're not into the sport, you can see like a fantastic shot and kind of get dragged into it. So, like you say, it's very graphical sport, no matter what level. And I mean, you're seeing some of the, we'll talk about all your ventures up till now, but you're probably photographing one of the best at the moment, right? With the 18s on Sydney Harbour.
I don't know if I'm the best, but I mean, part of the best, but I mean, I have a true passion for the 18-footers for sure. It's really funny because the first time I saw them, it's a long time ago now. I was living in a small village, getting raised by my parents there, and before each movie at the cinema, there was 2 short movies. And one day I came to watch one, and there was 2 short movies. One was Big in the Sun in California, and the other one was 18-footers in Sydney Harbour.
Wow.
And I've been really amazed by those boats flying upon the water. That was not so common to see those images in those times. Must be 35 years ago or something.
Gee,
like
so
that
would have been like Channel 7 and those boats, wouldn't it? Back in the
yeah.
days?
That was one of those Runstand. We know Runstand. It was a little bit after, but I mean, I was really amazed, and it has been really a big impact on my imagination.
Polarizing is the word you're looking for.
And the funny thing is, when I'm witnessing this now with my proper eyes in Sydney Harbour, I still remember those first impressions on me. So it's really kind of a dream that came true in my life journey, and I'm really happy with that. And I don't get fed up at all with the magic of the harbour. It's really something special. I mean, it's really something that I can feel in my body in some ways. It's really something strong, and it's keep on. I don't get fed up with it, and I think it's this harbour and all the history, the development history about the 18-footers. It should be more known because there is a lot going on there. It's a very big development class, Those boats are not big, but they have been inventive in many ways. And it's not something that we know really in France. We are kind of relying on our proper history, which is kind of natural. But I mean, there is way more achievement than we think overseas.
Very cool.
I would say.
The viewing of that video, is that what forged your path, or is that how you've walk down this chosen career choice?
There was a combination of things. There was this thing that was really strong, and then I was raised in Les Sables d'Olonne, which is the Vendée Globe city, and I was at the lycée, which is when the year when you're in your 17 years at school, and it was in 89, for the first edition. I was spending a lot of time around that event, and it has really had a big impact on my career, because it's where I started to meet the journalists and the photographers involved with that event. That I was thinking, it's a pretty cool job, and I like to do that. And then I've worked for a local press magazine, which was called Presse Océan, and I was with two other journalists in charge of telling the story of the Vendée Globe, and it has kind of hooked me. And then I've worked on the race, which was a big multi-hull race around the world, but with a crew.
Yeah.
And I've been sent to New Zealand to cover the guys passing the Cook Strait. So it has really been key in my passion for this job, because I was thinking, wow, the combination of traveling, being in the middle of the action and documenting it is super exciting. It was combining things.
I assume there was an element of study involved as you sort of thought about the path. Did you take that on? It was a definite choice to learn as much as you could about photography, because it is an art form as well as a science.
Yeah, I'm not that technical, to be honest. Of course, I have some skills regarding that, but I'm really enjoying being into the action. And one of the beauty of selling photography is all the anticipation aspects, so because how the rules are leading the boats to certain directions, you can anticipate scene that's going to happen. And when you think it's going to get spectacular, and it's effectively spectacular, it's really satisfying to have anticipate what was about to appear, what was about to show. And it's one of the pleasure of selling photography is when your anticipation are matching with the situation, like you can see it appearing, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting hunting game.
Yeah.
So, Christophe, did you, before you became the photographer you are, were you a sailor as a young kid? Like, you grew up in Le Sablon. Were you sailing then as a youth, or is it?
Not really. It has always been a very big wish, but sailing is, even in my early days, it was not that accessible. So I entered really when I was 18, entering the windsurfing world. Yeah. I bought a cheap windsurfing board, and it's where I really started. Before, I just had a short dinghy experience on a 420 during a judo session. On 1 week, there was a second sport associated, and I chose sailing, but that was my only experience.
Okay.
So wow. I'm really a windsurfer at the start, but I've done a lot of windsurfing. I'm getting back into it now.
Yeah.
Before I get too old.
Are you going down the foiling path?
Yeah, I've just tried once, but I'm really intrigued by, especially in light wind. I think foiling in light wind is super exciting, because you're creating your wind, you're creating your speed, and there is a lot of potential settings you can play with, and the sea stage is pretty calm and all that. I'm really excited about that kind of sailing session. So yeah, so I'm really on the planning side so far, but I'm really curious about entering the foiling world with windsurfing.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, isn't it? Like how you get there. So it was because you walked the docks that you got your opportunity. As a young kid, you were there. You got to, not a young kid, but a young man. And so you got to meet the journalists, and that was basically what opened the door for you. You could start taking photos, and then that's where the opportunity came from.
Yeah, it was kind of a promise of an adventurous life. Like it was. I come from a fisherman family, so at the start, the sea is kind of a labor area and a dangerous playground. But the sailing aspect of it was way more fun and exciting, and it was also, it's such a big symbolic a big symbol. How would I say that? It's such a very exciting symbolic. The offshore setting. It's just talking about freedom, about
Oh, yeah.
adventure, about testing your limits. And I was, when you're an 18 years old guy, full of adrenaline, you're very excited by that kind of environment. It's a
Yeah.
very. I was really excited by the adventurous side of it, to be honest.
I love it. Love it.
And the photography was matching with this because it was opening me a lot of potential adventures, because you have to go to some place to get the pictures. So it was related to travels and moving into some exciting environment. And it's what has happened, to be honest.
The interesting thing from a photography perspective, so you're talking about 89 where you were at the first race, the way the boats look and how vibrant they look, they have so much more colour on them and with more sponsors logos, and the way they move through the water because they're going so much faster. There's more liveliness in photography now than back in the 89, just looking at your 18 photos from the last couple of days, there's just this amazing colour and energy, and it must be a really rewarding gig to actually just be able to snap photos, and much better than 40 years ago. Imagine if you were doing the photography 40 years ago with film, and it must be a lot easier, a lot happier lifestyle at the moment.
Surely the process of doing pictures using film and all the old technology, it was really another story. It was really potentially less fun, like you were saying, but
off to the dark room, into the chemicals, get it all happening.
Yeah. I mean, of course, now it's very rewarding in many ways because you get your result right away, and what you're shooting is like you're saying, colored and fast, and but at the same time, I can really enjoy slow boats too. I can because they can be elegant, and the shape that it gives to the general environment, with the sails, the curves of the hulls, or any kind of subject is potentially beautiful, and sometimes it even goes a little bit too fast, like when you're shooting the F50, or it's very demanding. I remember that in 2013 I was shooting the America's Cup in San Francisco, and all the photographers, I was not the only one, but we were kind of we were not really prepared to how fast things were going. We couldn't follow the boats because they were too fast for the ribs we had, So you had to choose in advance where you wanted to be. So it has kind of redefined completely the rules of selling photography for that kind of event. It was kind of a very new setup, and it was very interesting regarding that because it was a complete new world, So that's part also of the excitement, is you have to deal with some new challenges, and this one was a big one. It was really interesting that movement of the America's Cup becoming a foiling world, and it has really changed many way to photography in our world.
It must cause havoc on the shutter speed.
Yeah. And usually on the water, you like to use a bit of a quick shutter speed, because it's such a moving environment. But then you can be creative using a low speed stuff, but you're not completely sure what you're going to get most of the time. But sometimes it works.
Also, the onset of modern technology is you don't have to wind the film on, in between camera shots. You can just keep your finger on the button.
Yeah. With a card, with a big card, you can do 3,000 shots, which kind of
that's a lot of reels.
Yeah.
That's a big pocket of camera reels.
Do you get
that's true.
On the photography boats, Christophe, is there a bit of banter between the rest of the photographers? Back in the day when I I used to love doing this in the transition zone in triathlon, Jordan. You'll like this. Just prior to getting the bike ready for the triathlon. And I'd just kind of say it loud enough so everyone can hear that I was going to run 118 PSI for the day based on the temperature, just to start getting a bit of shit going in everyone's heads. Do you get a bit of that, Christophe, on the photography boats when you're standing next to all the different... Oh, no, I wouldn't use that setting today. Have you checked how overcast it is?
Yeah.
People usually know what they are doing, you know. But the sure thing is, it's an interesting word regarding the fact that we are all technically against each other in some ways, but we are also colleagues, and we are kind of in the same patterns of life, enjoying the same kind of things. So it's a bit of a emulation, and it's a little bit like actors, you know. You're stronger being together, but at the same time, if you start to work for you, then you're gonna start to.
I guess in some instances, like you're doing photography for different teams as well. So you're kind of trying to achieve the same thing, but for the particular team that you work for, in whether it's the Cup or the Volvo or anything like that as well, right?
No, it's true that sometimes it goes also with the communication purpose. You know, you're not always delivering the same content to everybody. Some asks are different regarding teams. You know, some want a more artistical approach. Some want more technical things. You know, some are more into B2B stuff. So you have to make pictures of the persons involved and all that stuff. So it's always a bit of a specific demand by the teams. So there is many variations. You know, it's not providing the same product to everyone. Sometimes it can get close when it's about a specific race or something like that, when you're just delivering a race report through the pictures. But then you can be, on an editorial point of view, a bit more linked to some specific needs, you know?
Christophe, all the thousands and millions of photos you've taken, have you got a favourite?
I've got ones that are, I would say, historically related to, for example, talking about the 18-footers. The first time I came in Sydney Harbour was in 2006, and I was invited by a French team to cover their adventure. And they made a mistake into the flying ticket, and I was living on the last racing day. It was finishing on 26, and I was living on the 26. And it was pretty light JJ Giltinen edition, and I was really craving for some spectacular shots. And on the 25, just before I left, it was a perfect nor'easter, 25 knots of wind. Good sea state, boats flying all over the place. And I managed to get a very spectacular shot of Rag and Famish. It was in that day with John Harris and my friend Rhys Clary sailing this boat. And it was a very beautiful airborne on the green water with the green boat. Anyway, it was cool stuff. And it was my first edited pictures. And I mostly came... I was just starting as a photographer, and so it was kind of a very rewarding moment that could not have happened, you know.
Yeah.
So when I was in the plane, I was really happy to bring back that picture, and it didn't launch really my career, but it has participated to help me to get a name in the industry.
The reason I asked,
and there is over pictures also, like I was saying, when you're anticipating things and things are happening like you were seeing them coming, it's very rewarding. I've made my first cover, seahorse cover, with a picture I took in 2009 during the Pacific Louis Vuitton series in Auckland in New Zealand.
Yep.
And I was seeing that action coming, and it's a wave covering a guy at the front of the boat, and it's translucid. You can see the guy under the wave, and it's pretty spectacular. And it was my first cover, and it was funny because I was really on a low budget, and I was not eating really as I would like to, and all that stuff. I've lost 8 kilos, I remember, during that trip. Anyway, but the reward of this was really, really important for me. And when you make your first cover, it means something because it's a challenging work, and
absolutely.
to get there, you need a combination of different things that are pretty hard to put together. So yeah, those pictures are along the way are meaning a lot to me, and they are not that they're not such a big number. Perhaps
Remember
20.
when you made your first cover, Jordan?
Yeah.
Grind a weekly.
The reason I ask, Christophe, is that we have a favourite style of photo, and our first logo features that famous photo from Beacon of Cows, which was the boat nosediving with this pink spinnaker and the stern way up in the air, and gorgeous Gordon Maguire about to jump off the back, and we sort of hunt down those photos when boats are nosediving down, and our listeners have started to send them to us. We get some really great photos from our listeners. So I guess I'm just saying our favourite photo is when you get the nose go right down and the bum's out in the air, and if you've got any of those, we're quite keen to see those.
Or literally 1 second from complete disaster.
It's sometimes talking about anticipation, sometimes or you see also nasty things coming, and it's I've done an 18-footer picture, pretty spectacular, in San Francisco. I was using a helicopter. If you know Howard Hamlin, guys, which is a Californian legend, he's a terrific sailor, but he's also a very good helicopter pilot, and he owns one, and he brought his helicopter, and I was flying not with him, but with a friend of him. Anyway, about the 18-footers in San Francisco. And those guys were bearing away, and the way they were approaching this bear away session, you could see that it's not going to make it. And so we got approached, and we had the whole sequence, and it was really a pretty beautiful nosedive with nice clear
Beautiful
water,
nosedive,
and beautiful sun, and no one got hurt, but it was very interesting move.
I love it.
Do you like getting up in the air and taking photos from the air?
That's for me. I've just made the 505 Worlds in San Francisco, and we had that package again with Howie's helicopter, Keith Ede, which is a great friend and one of the most talented helicopter pilot I know. He's a former sheriff helicopter, so he's used to tough flying, and he's a very smart guy, and he has an eye for beauty too. So it's this combination of the helicopter, the big 505 fleet, all the wakes of the boats, the San Francisco in the background, the bay, the wind, which is pretty strong. All this is just when you have a tool like an helicopter and a good pilot to document that, is just dreaming working conditions. I was just trying not to get used to it.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty unusual to get the whole package of all what helps to make some good work, but still I really enjoy that. And helicopter is terrific.
It's a bit of a segue to a story I have, and I know this show's not about us, but I can't not tell this story because
Miles will not change it now, BP.
no, but it's literally 2 minutes. And if you don't mind, take this in. So many years ago, I decided I'd start a photography business where I just hired photographers and pilots. Anyway, this one race, the Goolwa Malang, very famous Australian race, which I believe is on very soon, isn't it?
This weekend.
Right now.
I thought I'll put a one of those hang glider planes up, whatever they're called, the ultralights, with a photographer. Anyway, this photographer gets on board and the pilot speaks to him. It's got the propeller behind them, right? So they're sitting on this hang glider thing. Anyway, the pilot says to this photographer, he says, when you put your headphones on, make sure you put the strap bit around the front of your head a bit because, if you don't want it to come off. Anyway, they get up in the air, they start taking these photos. And this photographer decides to take a photo, and I believe what happened was his camera hit his headphones. The headphones shot off his head through the propeller, smashed in half. Half of the headphone went up through the wing, and the other half landed on my cousin's NACRA 5.8. And next thing you know, this plane is all over the place. My cousin's telling this story, and he said it was so close to coming down. It landed in a cow paddock in the middle of Malang somewhere. Anyway, that's just such a classic. So funny, that story. I'll never forget it.
It is funny.
Yeah, there is no small mistake in the air.
No.
Well, because
actually, Christophe, no, just quickly, I'm looking at it. I'm not sure what year it is, but it's a 505 Worlds for sure. Looks like San Fran, and you basically popped up above the rabbit boat, and there's probably 5 or 6 boats that will not make it at all. I can't see the rest of the sequence, but it looks like a absolute disaster about to unfold.
Oh,
I bet you would have seen a couple of them.
On the rabbit start, it depending on the number of boats, but yeah, sometimes it's so. I remember in La Rochelle, it was so crowded, 188 boat, that you can get some pretty some situations where not everyone's going to make it.
I was just going to say, under the rules, that technically, if you're in front of the line of the rabbit, it's technically disqualified. You should be, but I don't think they often do it. But yeah, if you get out in front and then try and bend back, that's technically a DSQ. But the other thing is, I noticed, Christophe, whilst you've been in Sydney, you went up in a light aeroplane as well. So you've expanded out of the helicopter. You've got all these great shots above Sydney in a light aeroplane. Was that this trip? Did I get that right?
Yeah. It's not a long time ago, but it was more a discovery flight. I had the opportunity to fly with someone, so I took it, and it was just for me, just a random flight. There was no other purpose than just enjoying the ride.
So he didn't know that he was going to be doing a work mission over the top of the harbour during the 18s.
I'm just intrigued what the next airborne device he might go flying in. Is it going to be a hot air balloon, or is it be an ultralight? Or
no, he's going to steer clear from ultralights now after that story.
The cheapest way to fly nowadays is using drones. So
yeah. I was going to say the drone industry must be having an effect on the industry in general.
It's surely. The helicopter is still for regattas like 5.0s or it's still a very powerful tool, but you can see that now the drones are really powerful. They stay a little bit longer in the air, and you can make some setups with several drones too. So, the way you have to be now, the way you have now to shoot from the air is way more easy and efficient regarding cost with the drones, and the transmissions are improving all the time. So as long as you are not shooting in super high quality and it's for the internet, you can have some pretty nice setup now.
Oh, that's the key, is it? That's the key. So you think that the traditional methods, as you do, is still gaining the quality advantage over the
The thing is, especially with those big offshore boats. You know, you need some power. You need some to be able to move quickly from a place to another. The drones are the FPV ones, for example. They are really good, but still you can stay that long in the air, and so the helicopter is still a matter of interest for specific missions like image bank and things like that. But the sure thing is when you're on board and you want to shoot from the boat itself, the drone is terrific. It's great, and it's.
Sorry, Jordan mentioned a second ago, asked you about your favorite photos. Do you have a favorite photographer?
Oh,
someone in your field that you respect and really enjoy looking at his photos or her photos?
Oh, of course, we have the kind of the absolute reference, which is Carlo Bornaghi has shown through the year that he's always creative. You know, even aging, he is always a leader in his field. But there is guys like, for example, is perhaps a little bit less known, but Mathias Capisano is a very good. Is more specialized with the optimist world and all that stuff. But I really like his work. I think he's very it's very smart photography. I have some good French colleagues which I think are really good, like. Vincent Curuchet, she's a French photographer, is very good in my opinion and a very nice guy. Too, Sharon Green in America is a great photographer. She has achieved a lot. She has a long path already, and yeah, there is. I mean, there is many good photographers, of course, and I know now most of them not. Personally, but we cross each other really often sometimes, and yeah, so those names are popping in my head, but there is of course many other photographers that are really good, but I would say those names first.
So Christophe, my gauge on it, especially in this day and age, there's a lot. Everyone can be, just using the term loosely for the minute, a photographer. Everyone can buy a camera, they can use their phone. So there's a lot of content out there, but you still need to be at the top of your game. And I've seen it, this is just my observations, like the Mirrorboard Photography Award that's awarded every year. There's generally the same photographers involved because their imagery is always a step above. So, I guess what I'm saying, there's a lot of content, but you still need to be really at the top of your game to come shining through, right?
It's very challenging to make that job profitable. So of course, you need to be on the right events, and when you're on the right events, you need to be the best possible, and eventually better than the others to pop up and to get the legitimacy to be in charge of producing a certain job and be commissioned for that. So yeah, of course, it's a very challenging world. It's not. It looks cool from outside, but it's pretty challenging. And like you were saying, if you were providing average stuff, then you don't represent any interest. The problem is now the fact that photography has become so accessible. It's creating some difficulties for the professionals regarding people that are proposing their work for free for organizations. So it's really hard to compete sometimes with free people, because the argument is, even if you're kind of providing something better, the argument is to say, okay, you're better, but this guy is free. So how do you compete with someone free? It's pretty hard. It's not easy.
Yeah. And I've seen, I think it was a few years ago, Rick Tomlinson gave a talk about that at the World Yacht Racing Forum, about how to keep the industry as a professional industry, and what we as events and teams need to do to maintain that. And I totally agree. It's something that, you know.
But usually the people who are wrong usually are the organizers that are taking those free pictures. Sure. Because the photographer is, if he want to get his name somewhere, he can eventually propose his pictures for free. But if someone is saying yes, for me that's where is coming the fault. So
correct.
It's not helping us to. And it's happening sometimes. You're surprised on some organizations that are pretty established.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of which, then, we've set best image. We've answered that. Your favorite photographer. How about your favorite team that you've been engaged with, or favorite event for that matter, that you love being involved with?
I really like to be involved with the 5-0s. For many reasons,
mate,
because
this
I
is
think
a fucking setup.
Don't start
Jordan
that. Don't go down that
I mean,
path.
the 5-0s to me, I mean, the racing is good.
Look at
the
Jordan.
fleet is big. The fleet is big, so it's, as a photographer, it's not so often that you have big fleets, and it's a planning boat.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming Jordan's told you how good he is at 5-0s.
Yeah, but
that's how they met in the dark room.
I love 5-0s.
No, this guy is a legend in the class. There is no doubt.
I concur for sure, wholeheartedly with that. It's a pity this level of photography wasn't around when the rainbows were in full.
Anyway, move on. Come on.
And there is also one aspect of the 5-0s which is very important for me is those guys are really here for the beauty of the racing, for the beauty of the sailing, because it's a class where you can get your ass kicked pretty badly, even being a pretty good sailor. So you need to be prepared to get some bad results, because the top guys are really, really good and the fleets are big. So when you're doing 25 on a world championship, that means you're super good, but there is 24 teams that are better than you, and it's something that you be ready to accept. There is some other classes where it's more easy to access to better rankings, I would say. So it gives a lot of humility. Like one of the big sponsors of the 5-0s, which is Asso Plattner, which is a guy who is wealthy and buy any kind of boat. He told once that with 5-0 you can't buy success, and that's it. You can spend a big amount of money on your boat, but the way the class is working is you can have a good boat, but it's not what's going to make the difference at the end. And it's a merit class. I mean, it's a class where that's why the world champions are usually around their 50s, because it takes a long time to get there. And it's also the beauty of that class is you can last a long time being competitive. A guy like Earl, he has this. You remember Jordan in Ireland? He came 8th on the race or something like that.
Earl
being 17th or Earl.
Yeah.
38, or he was sailing with a younger crew, but
Angus
he
Higgins.
had that. Yeah, and that's beautiful for me.
Yep. Yeah.
And the 18s are kind of the same. It's not a class for poser. When you're sailing an 18, you just love that kind of intense sailing, because if not, it's terrifying. And those guys for me are really there for the right reasons, and it's part of the reason why I like to document that, because there is some intensity and also a certain approach, which is for me very it's on the truth side. It's those guys are, I would say, like I was saying, here for the right reasons, because they really love sailing and they really love intense sailing.
So just to kind of round that bit of a question out, how about your favorite experience, regardless of the output? Like your favorite experience. I remember, I was chatting to the guys within Volvo Ocean Race, and they did that photo shoot out of Cape Horn, and it's a phenomenal experience that they have. You had something that stands out in your career thus far that just is you couldn't replicate it?
When you're working sometimes on the image bank and you're sailing offshore on the IMOCA boat, that's pretty special. It's pretty intense. That's
I thought for a second then you were going to say the 5-0s in San Francisco.
No, for sure it was my introduction of the 5-0s was in 2009 in San Fran, and it was really special, but I can't say that it was the
pinnacle.
The hardest part. It was, on the contrary, kind of a luxurious package. But anyway, yeah. But when you're doing those image bank, spending a few days at sea on an IMOCA boat, it's really challenging because depending on the condition, of course. But those boats, upon 15 knots of wind, they became nightmare. It's not that it's so bumpy or uncomfortable. You can get used to it. But it's the sound for me. The sound is really the hardest part.
Yeah,
it's never stopping. And with the foils, it's kind of sign that it's kind of eating your ear for days.
Like tinnitus, or whatever they call it.
Tinnitus. Yeah.
Tinnitus. Yeah.
So yeah, doing some imagery into those conditions, it's pretty hard. And it's probably the most challenging environment from my experience so far. And yeah, it's perhaps I'm aging a bit too. It's not helping, but I mean, yeah, it's and when you manage to get some good shots in an environment like this, that's pretty cool.
It's like BP just playing the highest possible note on his guitar.
Oh yeah,
just screeching it out.
Yeah,
and then someone just pounding on a bloody bass drum as hard as they can, right in your fucking eardrum.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's sorry.
Oh no, Christophe, I was just going to say, you've opened up the discussion around the French sailing scene. So I do have to ask a question. I want to understand something about the French sailing scene that we don't understand yet. We haven't got worked out. And you said you come from a fishing family.
Yep.
So what I want to understand is, like, before a major event like the Vendée Globe, do they reach out to the fishing boats before the event, or do they just wait until one of the non-French boats is leading into the finish before they send you out to crash into them? Like, I just want to know.
Yeah, it's all organized from the start.
Okay.
It's all set up. Yeah. There's no way you're going to win, mate.
Brings up
It's
bad
teamwork.
memories.
Teamwork.
Like, in your scene with the French scene, like, which boat do you think, the minis, the
Class 40s.
the Class 40s, the Amocas, there's the old teams, like, which boat do you just look at and just go, oh my God, I can't even imagine, which would you, is it the old teams? Is it I quite dig the Class 40s.
All teams, they are, of course, hard to sail for a single man. It's all about anticipation, and you can't be surrounded by the power of such a machine. But I think they are more comfortable than the IMOCA ones.
Yeah.
The IMOCA ones, from my experience, are really the more brutal. They are really, you're wearing helmet inside, and the fact that those guys are sailing single-handed, those boats, the new ones, it looks to me that we are kind of flirting with a certain level of danger.
Yeah.
It's someone's going to get hurt at some point.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And the Class 40 are kind of the same. They are super brutal, the new ones. I don't have much experience on the Class 40, but the new ones, regarding the performances and the size, it's super brutal. Those boats are really hard to experience. Really brutal.
I kind of hate to, well, not hate to agree with you on this, but I think you're right there. We're not far off some sort of a catastrophic disaster here.
I think we are really, to be honest, flirting about some real danger. I mean, I'm just talking from my small experience, and I'm not, of course, as trained as those guys. And you've seen, on the last races, there is more and more people getting hurt. It's for a reason. It's just because there's many occasions to get hurt.
Yeah.
And if you had on the top of that, the fact of being tired, not sleeping really well, and so I think it's becoming pretty, technically dangerous.
Yeah. No wonder what that. I'm sure this discussion has been had many a time, but of course the pursuit for, let's say, performance has probably stopped that. And I wonder when the line is going to be drawn, or how it's going to be drawn, for that matter.
Yeah, it's a true question. It's of course we are all wishing the best for the sailors, but I think we are in kind of a momentum where it's the question is becoming pretty strong, right? Because on a technical and architecture point of view, it seems that now they can make even more brutal boats, and we've seen in the last developments that some boats are coming back slowly to some more with a few more comfortable options, like how do you make it sustainable for a human body, performance is a thing, but how do you survive for 70 days at sea alone on a boat that is hitting you pretty hard, so it's anyway.
Well, put it this way, Christophe, you're known to do some of your portrait shots as well. Now, so this is a bit of a theme that's happened on many races, but like, for example, a portrait shot of a individual at the start of, call it a Volvo Ocean race, not the recent one, but ones prior to the end of a leg, like a 20 or 30 day leg, and the people just look absolutely hammered, right? They've had salt water in their eyes for the last 30 days. Now you do a shot with maybe the pilot of the SVR or someone on the IMOCA boats who hardly poke their head out of the screen. It's they could just do selfies the whole way around. They've been hanging out in their Crocs, just cruising around, despite the tinnitus or whatever it's called, the banging in your ears. It's not like that 30 knot apparent wind or 40 knot apparent wind, salt water banging into your face every 4 hours either.
Yeah.
No.
Under the cockpit.
No, it's yeah. No, but it's all those questions about how hard is the journey, and the way to document it is pretty impressive. You have also those pictures showing the ends and all that stuff. It's a interesting way to show how hard the thing is that those guys are going through, guys and girls. But yeah, it has been done a few times now, and it's an interesting concept. But I think it's pretty hard to show just on an image point of view how hard has been the journey in between, because there is also the excitement of the arrival, and I've always been surprised by the energy of the guys when they are arriving, even on a solo, even on a
Yes, they can't wait to get off the bloody thing.
There is that excitement, and then 5 or 6 hours ago they completely fall down for a 35-hour sleep. So I mean, it's perhaps not paying it's perhaps not showing how hard it has been, that kind of picture, in my opinion.
Maybe they
Unless
need like
people are really badly hurt.
might have to be like a physiology scan or something. I don't know how that would work. You got to go do an MRI, and that really
with different levels of colors showing how tired is your body, and probably
stressometer in the corner of the picture.
Yeah.
Hey, Christophe, we're nearly out of time, my friend. Where do you go? Like, you're here for the JJs in Australia for the JJs. Where do you go next, mate?
I'm going home in Les Sables d'Olonne, which is good news. I've had I really love coming here. It's nearly 20 years I'm doing that little Aussie routine, and I love this. And as long as I will be able to keep on doing it, I will. But I'm going to get home and I'm going to work on an IMOCA project to document it because there is a few teams at my place, and I'm going to work for Arnaud Boissière. Is about to start his fifth Vendée Globe in a row. It's the first. He's the first guy to be in that position, so it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to also work for my magazine Voiles Et Voiliers on different subjects. So many adventures to come.
Voiles Et Voiliers. Haven't you got a giant 8-page spread in the latest issue?
Rolls off the tongue, Jordan.
Yeah. I just the printed edition is gonna pop out in 3 or 4 days, but the online edition is already ready, and I wrote a 8-page article about magic Sydney Harbour and the joy of sailing in this harbour.
Awesome.
So finally, I'm getting there after 20 years coming here. I'm finalizing that project to express my passion for Sydney Harbour, which I really think it's a very special place. And when talking about the 18-foot skiff history, when you think about for me, it's kind of a matrix of sports boats, and it has all happened in Sydney Harbour, and it's for me, it's meaning a lot, and we should promote that more.
So beware, Sydney, for an influx of Frenchies, eh?
Yeah. Christophe, my last point I'll make to you, my friend, is you've been indoctrinated into the beauty of Sydney Harbour, and no doubt it's gorgeous, it is beautiful, and we're very lucky to have it. But we, the three of us, can take you to the most perfect sailing place in the world. Next time you have to give us a chance to take you to little old Port Vincent in South Australia.
Port Vincent.
Yeah.
It's called.
I'm super happy. I'm excited about the idea. Yeah.
I'll cook you a brisket, Christophe.
Yeah.
We'll go do some blue swimmer crab. Get some blue swimmer crabs.
Yep. Of course.
Population of about 400 people, one pub, one caravan park, one sailing club, and the most perfect sailing conditions that have ever existed on the planet. And
that sounds super exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, it is.
I'm happy to change my mind.
Absolute dream, mate. We'll have to take you out there, bud. You'll love it.
We've put a bid in for the JJs to be moved next year, so be prepared.
They would love it. The 18s, because the 18s don't like
flat water.
Yeah, they love the flat water, and my God, would they enjoy Port Vincent? They would never leave the place. I reckon if we got Herman and John,
probably, because that's one of the aspects of Sydney Harbour. It's beautiful, it's great.
Yeah,
but the traffic is so big that it's like sailing in a washing machine. Sometimes it's really waves coming from everywhere, and it's challenging.
Yeah,
and you have to take the traffic into account too, which is part of the racing. You have to deal with the ferries. It can even be part of the strategy sometimes, like push someone under the wind of a ferry or things. It's creating many funny situations. But Sydney Harbour is not that easy to sail regarding all the traffic there is in.
Yep. The only thing they're judging there is the Barkarati barge. And we'll be handing out beers as
At
they go
Port
past.
Vincent, it means, yeah. All right, my friend. Thanks for taking time to chat to us, bud. It's always good to talk to you. And I'll look forward to the next time. And I suspect, I'm not sure, but I suspect you're actually staying at the international president of the 505 class's house. And is that right? It's lovely
Yeah,
plug.
it's exactly right. Yeah, it's a few years I'm doing this, and I feel really lucky about that because it's a very beautiful environment.
Yeah.
I'm really busy being there, but each time I'm coming back, which I can call home, it's super. It's really super nice, and enjoying Little Manly is pretty special when you love sailing and surfing and all those close to the water stuff.
Very cool.
Fantastic.
All right, buddy.
Keep it up, mate. It's bloody good what you're doing. We love seeing all your imagery and
Oh,
your
yeah.
stories. So thank you very much.
Don't be shy.
Thank you so much. I'm really doing my best to please people who enjoy sailing because I'm part of those guys. So I'm working also for me.
Good on you, mate.
Well
Cheers.
done. Thanks, Christophe.
Cheers.
Mate, I wish we could get more of the Frenchies on the show because Christophe is fantastic bloke, as you can tell. And I reckon that's the secret to his success, not just his photography skills, but because he's such a good guy to have around, everyone keeps inviting him back. You know, he gets a gig, turns up, and then everyone goes, "Oh, how much fun's this bloke?" And just
Wee, mon ami, you got to be a cobber digger, mate.
yeah,
There's no doubt about it. That's how I think life works. You need the skills to back it up, of course.
Of course.
Digger.
Of which he does, but cobber digger, mate, that goes hand in hand.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah. He's a lot of fun, and obviously you can guess we met in the 50 world, and we've done a lot of work together producing content, and
Very satisfying, that, isn't it?
Hey,
Bossy?
I'm just for the listener. I was just saying to the boy, I'm really thirsty in the hotel room in Valencia. I'm too scared to drink the water because I won't be able to leave within, be more than 5 minutes away from a toilet at any point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm unsure if I'm sculling rosé here or something.
Or grape juice.
at 9 o'clock in the morning. I
It
love
is 11:13 a.m.
Sustenance. Hey, talk about sustenance and keeping yourself on top. I've, as you know, had a huge week and got a huge 3 weeks in front of me. And it's a bit of an educational thing for me. Bicey, you did the Radix, tried to do the Radix month and see what it did. Well,
That went about 2 days.
yeah. Well, I'm actually doing it properly. I'm having Radix for breakfast every day with the busy schedule. It's actually not just all about sport. So yeah, getting right into it and noticing how I'm getting through the days. So educational wise, you should be treating it like that. You should be treating it like a normal thing. Get on the Radix.
Treating your body like a temple, unlike myself, treating mine like an amusement park.
Oh, dear,
Yes,
you idiot.
like it.
Radix Nutrition, faster, simpler, healthier. Just go to the Radix Nutrition website, type in Barkarati as the discount code and get a discount on us. And happy days. So, yeah, very cool. Other news, we're going to club events, boys. This weekend, Bossy, you should be all over this. It's the Sailing Champions League Asia, our great mate, our great support of
Great
this
club.
event. Hey?
Yes.
At your club, at the Great Commodore with the heat wave on in Adelaide.
Yep. So it's been, we don't know who's running one at the minute. I saw day one, Carter Baker and Luke Stevens were top of the leaderboard.
Yep.
The CYC and Largs Bay Sailing Club, so a couple of local clubs. And just a couple of days before the event, as you mentioned, a bit of a heat wave in Adelaide, move of location. So it was going to be held in the port where we've held the State Sailing League over the last few years. But given the heat, given where just the geographical location, chance for a drifter is absolutely possible. So
Correct.
they moved it back out to in front of the Cruising Yacht Club. Well, out just off North Haven Beach there. So, which makes for some great viewing if you're on the water. Some great viewing if you want to take your fishing rod and climb out the end of the breakwater.
I was going to say, you could, get your outdoor Crocs on and get out there and go down, walk out the rocks.
Croc on.
Rock Crocs.
But then obviously some great social to be back at the actual club with a whole bunch of other activities going on there this weekend as well.
It's pretty cool.
So,
so that is at your club. And, of course, it's the Asia-Pacific Finals, Sailing Champions League, and all that is run by our good friend Mark Turnbull, Olympic gold medalist, 2000 Olympics in the 470, episode 101 on Barkarati, I think.
from memory.
From memory.
Yeah. But, get to that one. And speaking of that heat wave, so just for the listeners, it's around 40 degrees in Adelaide, which is not uncommon at times. So I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, 110, 112, something like that. 108.
It's damn hot.
It's very
Let's just
warm.
say it's hot.
Yeah.
It's damn hot.
Yeah.
Damn
All
hot.
right if you're with the lady, not if you're in the jungle.
Yeah. The Malang Goa or Goa Malang, or I think they're going backwards and forwards this weekend, aren't they? They go. I'd say they go Goa Malang and then back to Malang Goa. So that's been
Give the ultralights double chance of having a crash. Great race for all different boats going along a river system. That's on. We've mentioned it. I like the idea of them going to and from. I think that
it's good.
The party at the two will be quite good.
Yes, it's and with the heat,
heads going back.
with the heat, there's no point going back to your little trailer sailor and sleeping on your trailer sailor because it's too hot. So just stay at the bar,
Sleep on the reserve,
and just sleep on the grass. That's right. Or just as we say, just BP it. Sleep on the grass.
That's it.
So that'll be a good one. But
gaze at the weather just to make sure that our monohull record is going to stay intact.
Yep.
But anyone who really wishes to take that on, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
I'll give a word to. I might ring the fishermen down there just to make sure we take any given person out if need be.
He's using the French technique. Protect your record. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. But the irony of having such an iconic event on this weekend is that there's the exact same iconic event, a version of an iconic event going on this weekend on the other coast, on the east coast, so South Australia being the southern coast. It's the 56 Marley Point overnight race, which is a huge event that's been going on for years, and they race.
Massive.
Yeah, they race overnight down the Marley Lakes through the Mile Lakes, sorry.
Beautiful down through there.
Beautiful down through there. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Just above Port Stephens, and you come right down to, what's it, Eagle's Nest or something? It's a crow's nest. I can't remember what it's called, but all the sports boats and the multis and the trailer sailors, and it's been going forever. And I think, just to get ridiculous numbers of entries. They've got 140 yachts, I think, going this year, so still pretty good numbers. But yeah, best luck to everyone going down there. It's short tacking. Hopefully, I haven't looked at the weather. They're probably going into it. Yep. So tough conditions for them, but it's a classic event. So I just wanted to mention that other classic event is on, and then. The other event I think I have to mention, boys, and I really have to pull it out, is I think that the Dragon 65s have got their national champs on this weekend as well in Western Australia. Do you guys know anything about that?
Sorry about that. I just another one for you, BP.
What's that, buddy?
What's it called? It's Fias here.
Yes, is it? Oh, lovely.
So if
lovely.
you hear a couple of loud bangs coming through my window, that's what's going on at 11.
We'll get on to the Dragon, the DF65s in a second, but get yourself out to Mascaletta at 2 p.m. in the middle of the
2 p.m. in town.
2 p.m. Get out there for what cannot be described as anything other than an orgasmic experience.
I love it.
So back to the
sailing.
The Dongfong 65s.
The twiddlers. The twiddlers.
So Jackie Howe wrote in And this is where just sort of drop you a line to let you know about the Dragon Force Australian titles are on this weekend from the 8th to the 13th in Western Australia. Now, this little yacht, although small and simple in comparison to its prestigious cousin, the International 1 metre, is one of the fastest growing fleets in Australia. But actually, when we do finally come around to getting someone on for this to talk about this particular class, there's going to be a lot out there.
Well,
More
we
importantly, the
did
people-
discuss this. 70,000 boats sold worldwide.
Yeah.
What?
Who say
70,000 boats.
Wow.
So far.
ridiculous. I've
Yeah.
got 69,000th boat, I think. More importantly, the people who sail these little boats range from world champions to complete beginners. Now, it could be stated that most of the fleet no longer have an interest in hiking. However, these are the people who wrote the rules of the Chuggalug, did DIY experimental moth alterations, and generally built and developed so many classes and clubs around Australia. See the joint excitement still created by the healthy competition is something to behold. So, Jack, nice sending that in, bringing that to our attention. Buggered if I could find any results anywhere, but it doesn't really matter. But go check it out. Could you find anything, J-Dot?
No, it still goes on till the 13th. So I think it only just started, so they probably haven't published them yet. But good luck to everyone participating. And hopefully
the issue
not
is they got sore fingers when they get home. They can't get on the computer.
sore fingers and the occasional sore fist, because you're right, standing next to people, if you lose your temper, it's punch-ons, like it's the joy of
You'd be
toilers.
shocking, wouldn't you?
I would.
I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but I did respond to Jack and sent a photo of my DF65 setup.
Yes, I see that.
That I was kind of tinkering away with, explaining that it hasn't really been launched yet, apart from in the pool, of which I got my son to hold the leaf blower at full noise, which is a bloody
Full
good
noise from
idea.
one end of the pool to the other, smash into
Bloody
the wall.
good idea till it put him on his ass.
Tobes.
Tobes took a tumble. Like leaf blower at full noise. Yeah, she's a bit too much for the young fella to hold on to.
Oh, dear, I love it. All right, we'll move on, boys.
Yep.
The Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week is it's what we call a croc fest, is the way I'm
Yes,
going
it
to
is a
describe
croc
it. But before we do go, of course, with Vycobi sponsoring the Listener of the Month, where you can get $200 Aussie voucher for the best email or letter or whatever, the way you correspond with us. The best one of those, the boys and the team at Vycobi are providing a $200 voucher. The winner last week was John Schaefer from Ministry of Sailing.
Yes, was, yes. Good on you, Shapo.
And Shafe has
Sir John.
straight away written back and said, look, he wants to donate it to a youth program. So he wants to give the voucher to some beneficial youth program. So he's asked us to do that, just so the Ministry of Sailing, his business has come back to us and said that. He's also just published, I think, the latest issue. He started doing what he calls his sailor's debrief, where it's a safety debrief, and he's doing videos on YouTube, and he's just done the latest one about a FAR 56 that sinks during the Antigua to Bermuda race. So it's probably worth jumping on there if you're interested at safety at sea. Just on YouTube, or you'll find it, Sailor's Debrief 102. So I just thought I'd give him a free plug because he has donated that. We'll work out a youth
Based
program.
on that, given location of John, shall we look for a US club?
Yeah, we'll try.
to do
We'll
this?
try.
So any out there? Are we asking maybe to just, if there's, they can see someone or a program in need,
Yeah,
give us a holler and we'll make it happen.
yeah. And the team at Vycobi will sort it out, and it'll be great fun. So as I said, it's a croc fest.
Oh yeah, he's a croc fest, and that includes the art.
The major sponsor, Pat Langley, riding in, and he has sent a picture of a pair of your Crocs, Spice.
That's right.
Are they yours?
Minus the letter R.
Are we going? I was going to say,
makes
are
it a
we
little
going
difficult
X-rated
to-
here or what?
Makes it a little difficult to walk around. Let me tell you.
So for the
Bit
listener,
floppy in the front end, aren't they?
we've elected not to publish the photo because we can't. But if we could just, as Bicey said, if you think of a pair of Crocs, but just drop the letter R and the front appendage on these their shoes.
Are a Croc minus the letter R.
Yeah.
By the way, this little segment is R-rated, so yeah,
Put the R back in, please.
yeah, we'll slide the R back in now.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Pat Langley, well done on winning this week's Vycobi Listener of the Month.
yeah, we've decided he can't win
200
it.
voucher coming your way.
But the other one was that we got an email from Matt Lewis. No, was it Matt Lewis? Yeah, Matt. Here we go. Have I got the right one up? Yep. Hey, fellas, love the podcast. My Sunday ritual over here in London is to prep dinner, listening to the latest show. Great banter, great guests. You had a shout out to Colbrow on today's show, and I think she'll make a great guest if you can swing it. As the dad of 2 daughters, so we're back to International Women's Day, I think it's fantastic that you all really highlight the pathways for girls and women in the sport. Also, what is the best croc for offshore? I'm thinking of retiring my Dunlop volleys. Now, this is a man with quality taste in shoe wear. He's wanting to move from the volleys to the Crocs. This is a man right after our own heart.
100%. And
it's a big move, though. It's a big move from Dunlop volleys.
When it is pronounced, though, Matt, you have to pronounce it like this: offshore croc, basically.
Right.
And so you've got cockpit croc, offshore croc, dockside croc. Anyway, go check out, and I requested for Matt to do this. The Crocs are taking over video, barkarati.com.
Yep.
And it's a croc with the gator. Mate, I tell you, if that's not more, you couldn't get a much better offshore croc than that.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Offshore croc with a gator.
So
Beauty.
there you go.
Take it off.
That is the detailed information. So Matt is listener of the week this week. So well done. Appreciate the email and bringing it right back to discussion around Crocs. Why on earth have we not been sending audio of this to the marketing team at Crocs? It is beyond me because we are not getting a cent for this.
We've got no idea what we're doing.
We still got one more left here, boys.
What have we got? What have we got?
We got Scott Patton, who's come in.
Oh, yes.
Our good friend Scott, who's come in. And I think let's go. Hi, lads. Nothing to report out of alignment this week. However, this could be a fun game for the podcast.
Oh, yep.
I've been playing with this a bit, and you could get some crackers. So the game is name a part of the sailing yacht that could be an actor. So here's a couple he's brought forward.
It's quite funny, actually.
Chris Helmsworth. My next one's a good. I like the next one. Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Yeah, Ben Stiller.
Elliot Berry.
Elliot Berry.
Jeff Goldboom. So, and finally he's put in Hilary Luff.
Yep.
Now, I was at a bit of a loose end myself, and so I came up with a couple, which was Winch Diesel and Hull Pacino. But let's not forget Cabin Diaz.
Oh, good old Cabin Diaz.
Then next up, Scott comes back with, what about Dwayne the Knot Johnson? And I'm like, stop it, Fleet Blanchett.
Nice.
Okay, I will.
So we started a game. He started a game, and I do like it.
Jet Li Bao.
I like it. Hey, actually, I must admit,
I've got a few more.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I've been working on it.
Yeah, cool.
So Boom Cruise, got him in there.
Yeah.
Declan Washington.
What was that one?
Declan Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Got Kill Urban. So I had a bit of time on the plane yesterday.
Kill Urban live in concert.
Sale Knightley. And Marston Kane.
Oh,
so, there's plenty out there. So if any of the listeners have got any they want to chuck in, cheers at barkarati.com or via one of the 18 different messenger services that we have, just send it through for a bit of banter. We like
Jib Luff.
Well, I will say I've been getting some quiet emails from Scott on another whole topic, and he's got a genius idea I think that might fly. So we're just trying to. I haven't come back to him on it, but it's definitely something that I will bring back onto the show. No,
Just keep it quiet.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Don't tell anyone.
Men are talking, boys. Sit down.
We don't want to peter out.
No.
You might get one. Oh dear. All right. Okay, we're happy. We're happy. No more. No more.
Yeah.
It's hot time with Bice.
I was just seeing you in Spain. I was doing the maracas at the same time. I think a bit of maracas would go really nicely with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'll complement the triangle. It'll complement the triangle.
Yeah.
Well, you're on cowbell anyway, so
We need a maraca player.
we need a maraca. I'll do some recruiting.
I got my friend next to me. Look,
Yeah,
Oh.
BP's got his guitar.
Guitar.
Perfect.
Love it.
Now, mate, it's got to be story of the week. Mention it at the top of the show. Cole Brower
yeah,
coming in second over the line.
Yep.
Global Solo Challenge.
Yep.
I mean, has this been the biggest thing in yachting in recent times on what she's achieved as far as dragging yachting into the
she's come in from under the
Daily
radar.
Mail?
She's come in from under the radar. This whole story is huge. And I'd love to get her on the show, but she's obviously super busy
We'll
now.
have to
But
talk to her publicist, I think now.
Yeah,
think
well,
now,
that's
Christ.
it. Yeah, they're great.
Hey, do you think she slowed down to get in for this
Oh,
week?
100%. Mate, it's a full
Get in for the
setup.
week of International Women's Day. I think she did.
Well, not necessarily that, but definitely on first light. Name of the boat, by the way. To be there, perfect timing, International Women's Day, all those sorts of things. It was just the perfect storm.
Publicist's dream. Dream.
So,
No, well done to her. And what stood out for me in particular was not too different to our good friend and Barkarati and Pip Hare, the effort that she's gone to share her experiences. So that's not easy being out there and turning your camera on and going live. It's not easy to do that.
Yeah.
you know what got me, gents?
What got you?
And what really got me?
What got you?
It's been thought about from the day she left the dock.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't often many of the broadcasts or her videos, she was in crappy old yachty attire.
No. Yep.
She and maybe this is an element that brought it to the people a little bit closer.
Yep. Oh, whatever she did, it was good. Everyone was sending us messages about it. I think from memory, she was sailing Melger's 24s a bit. I reckon she's from that fleet, and then stepped up into this. It took her 40 around the world.
Magenta program Illuminati.
Yep, that's it.
That's the correct terminology.
She's been magentaed. Yep.
Touched with the purple.
No, congratulations to Cole. We look forward to actually what that brings for the future as well. So, well done to her.
Well done her.
Actually, and for all the Volvo sailors out there, this is the highlight I saw is she's reached the dock, and who's to meet her there? Our mate Chooney. He's running the marina. He's running the marina. So good. Well done, Choonster. Legend. All right. So what else? We've got the JJs carrying on from last week.
Yeah, one more race to go as we record. It'll be done by the time we publish.
Yes. What do we got? We've got Yandu top of the table.
Mika Lane.
Dragon Famish second. Andu third. Predictions, boys?
Well,
look, Mika Lane has been sailing for a long time now, and he seems to be hitting a sweet spot. I think he's just gonna get it. He's having a cracking effort and sailing really well.
So there's one race to go. Yandu lead by 2 points. I think Andu are far enough back now with the drops that they can't win. So it's between Rag and Famish and Yandu. So
that's Harry Price and Mika Lane.
Yeah. Harry Price steering Rag and Famish, not stealing. And then Mika stepping on to Woody's boat, John Winning's boat, the Yandu, which is, pretty talented crew, nicely a boat with all the latest toys, and it was definitely been going fast all year. the interesting thing to make the prediction is that the old Rag and Famish, the last 2 races, has been flying. So I don't know what the win forecast is for tomorrow, but Rag, she won it by about 4 minutes today, I think. So this is Saturday we're talking about. So it's all our predictions are irrelevant because it's been decided by the time this goes to air.
So prior to the lay day, they had a win. Lay day, then they had another win. So and their highest drops are 7. With the Andu highest drops of 4 at the minute. Yeah. So it's
So what's the wind in Sydney? It's pretty decent northerly tomorrow, I think. It looks like it should be. Sort of 15 knot northerly on Sydney Harbour. Oh, a little lighter. No, it probably won't be quite as strong. But anyway, it's it'll just be perfect racing weather is probably the best way to describe it. Just that transition.
Christophe will get some classic shots.
Classic shots.
All right, moving on, gents, to the Niners, 49ers, 49FX.
Oh.
Jordan, I know you've just been glued.
I have.
Glued to it.
I have.
What? Give us a little update, mate.
Well, she's in Lanzarote. They're sailing, so they're into the Gulf.
Why wouldn't you? Just why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Well, it's interesting because looking at the conditions, they've got a big volcano there, as we all know, and so the wind comes over the island and it's touching down. It's like Brighton in a sou'easter, boys. A bit of difference in strength and direction, and it's sort of just random. You're always trying to get back to the centre. So you always just want to stay on the lift attack, and see where the pressure's coming and staying in that pressure. So it is. They keep saying snakes and ladders, which is probably exactly what you would expect looking at it. But, I've been enjoying watching it, boys. The Niners are a lovely little boat when you watch it out there sailing, it's a nice boat. They look like they're having fun.
They've got success for a reason. By the time, next week we'll have the winners and grinners. So we look forward to seeing all those coming through. And what a place to sail at this time of year.
She's a classic. She's an absolute classic.
Speaking of good places to sail, gents, Miami, Bacardi Cup, currently taking place. Normally, you'd just associate that purely with the star class, but we've got, 6 or 7 different one design classes taking part at the same time, which includes the Stars, the Melgers 24s, J70 Snipes, Viper 640, and then its predecessor, the VX1, I guess, probably. 200 odd boats on the course, 600 odd sailors. Be a pretty good place to be at. I think one design racing at its best.
Yes,
I think that the Stars have actually put quite a program to get a bunch of youth sailing the Stars.
They've
Kayad has
the Star Youth program.
Yeah,
which is significant. And that's almost a class that just keeps going strong. We don't really see much of it here in Oz, but definitely
quite a lot of normal
States
size
of America. Whilst we're making sailing great again, they're making star sailing great again.
Making star sailing great. Well, it's sort of a fleet for normal size humans, as you'd say.
Jay.
Absolute normal size humans.
Absolute normal size humans. I love it. Yeah.
No jockeys out there.
Moving down the coast a bit, boys. OGR start, Punta del Este, kicking off their last leg to finish off their trip around the world in what was the tagline? Racing like it's 1973 again. They just brought some new cassette tapes.
Plenty of lead pencils to wind. Plenty of lead pencils to forward to the next song.
And I believe at the moment, mentioned top of the show again, Maiden currently leading the fleet. So all female crew.
Yeah.
That'll be a great homecoming into the Solent for the Maiden to kick it off. So good luck to that fleet. I think the Penduick had a little man overboard incident at the start. Looked a little bit fruity, bit of fruitism, but
fruity situation.
Back on track.
Very good.
And then last thing I've got here, gents, not sure how much media this got in the mainstream yachting media, but there were some accusations a couple of weeks ago about Clarice who took part in the Vendée Globe,
Yes.
of cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a bit of a double banger here.
Yep.
The accusations were anonymous. She has been cleared of all
Wrongdoing.
Allegations, correct. So that's all good in that regard. Good for sailing, good for everything, good for, it was just a few little isms happen here and there, but great for the event going forward, for Vendée, for all IMOCA, everything going forward. Yep. My question is, if you are accusing someone of cheating, and this is possibly the worst thing you could accuse someone of, it can't be anonymous. You have to put your name, reputation on the line as well.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is,
is that harsh or not?
It's just such a touchy subject, isn't it? I mean, you're saying something very derogatory towards either a fellow competitor or someone or there's some form of reason to slant that person, and it's pretty horrible that the accusation happened in the first place. But I don't know, boss. It probably brings the whole thing to air, especially if it's a fellow competitor.
Jordan, thoughts?
Yeah, I can see
thinking.
I can see pluses and minuses for both, but yeah, I think it.
All right, I'll rephrase it. If your kid's sailing an Opti, and someone accuses them of cheating at this tender age of learning, the isms and things about how to move forward and behave and all those sorts of things, is it fair in that state, or is it not fair? Or I just feel as though it's a bit lopsided.
It's unsportsmanlike, isn't it? It's unsportsmanlike to accuse someone if it's unfounded and comes back that it's been cleared.
Oh, because this will be the story for her. Unfortunately, her story for the next forever, true or not.
Yeah, I think World Sailing is trying to, because we're a self-regulating sport, we need people to protest, and then people aren't doing it. So, So I think, I guess that was probably their logic. I don't know. I think people that are smarter than me have thought this through. So that's why I haven't sort of given you an answer. I know there's not many people smarter than me, of course, but,
Well,
I was going to say
definitely not smart enough just to sit on the fence and put your balls on the line.
Dear.
All right. One more, boys. Finally, Etchells coming up. It's all happening. Speaking of, sorry. No.
What?
Speaking of cheating. No, I sincerely take that back, and I do not mean anything of it. Nick Bice Bar Karate. Etchells coming up. WA could possibly be the greatest ever venue to take an Etchells event.
I think this is going to be a spectacle.
Well, in the middle of summer when you had sea breeze, but now it's going to be in March with no wind. So let's see.
Wow.
Yeah, true.
Have you looked at the weather models?
No, I actually haven't. So that is just pure.
Well, let me tell you, it's obviously West Australia renowned for the thumping sea breeze coming in. And once there's a short period of the year where you get these strong offshore breezes. There's a full set-in for the week of these easterlies coming offshore. So it's exactly it's never like this.
Never like this.
They're going to be sailing in switchy, strong, dying. It'll swing to the south throughout the day, but she's going to be honking easterly in the morning. And yeah, she's going to be. It's exactly the opposite of what Western Australia brings.
I don't know if you know, Jordan, but there's quite a 5-0 theme going on in the fleet.
I've seen a few names.
My ex team, Great White Hunter, Dave Dunn, has been sailing with the one and only Sandy Higgins, who has brought Dave Clayton onto the boat. So
DC,
hey?
DC, yeah,
DC,
yep.
Wow.
So there is a big 5-0 theme there.
Well, it's a big bloke on the front of that boat, that's for sure. DC, he definitely will move the boat around when he moves. He's a fantastic human being.
Look at that. I'm just looking on Willy Weather now.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking on Predict Wind.
Yes, correct.
Episode 221 from memory. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yep.
Easterlies.
Yep.
Oh, training tomorrow will be nice with a good, nice 20-knot sou'wester. And then easterlies for the rest of the week.
That's it.
Cool.
That's it.
So going to be exciting. I'm assuming all the boats have arrived. There was another shit fight with shipping with containers arriving. So good luck to all the international people that have put the effort in to come down. So hopefully that all works out.
It's a predominantly GBR-led international fleet. There's 3 from the US, and there's probably 6 or so from the GBR. Then we've got our traditional visitor from Hong Kong. We've got Ireland. And so it's obviously moving Etchels around the world. It's not easy. So it always skews that way. And this is obviously a heavily led Australian fleet. But, a lot of good names in there. Should be great to watch in Western Australia. Non-typical conditions. It will be fun and challenging. I'm very interested. I think, normally you take fairly punchy sails to Western Australia because it does get choppy. But with the strong offshores, you might be needing the flat stuff. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right, finally. Finally.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got
You've
another
said
one.
3 finalies, mate. Continue.
Yeah, I know.
Coming back from retirement.
And a quick just apology to the actual class. I didn't mean cheating at all. Cup boats arriving in Barcelona.
Yeah.
This will be a slow trickle. I believe end of April. They're allowed to sail the big boats.
Yeah.
I think there's something like that. So they're coming into all their bases for final fit out and probably transferring a bit of equipment across from their current cup boats to the new cup boats, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that. I think Alinghi are planning to do an official launch kind of early April-ish.
That's right.
To see the boat. But she came in the shroud of white plastic with a bunch of bumps and lumps over it, so no one really knows what they're looking at, but we'll be pretty keen to see what rolls out there. And in other cup news, not sure if you saw it, boys, but we saw Glen Ashby with a French AC.
Oh, I did see that. Ooh. Yes. Gashby doing a bit of coaching.
Yeah, the Great Gashby, they call it.
The Great Gashby.
The Great Gashby. Oh, dear.
It's all good. I'm super excited because we've got boats coming out. Secret word is that the Far boat's not too far away from American Magic, so that's going to be exciting as well. So looking forward to that.
Hey, I'm going to make my predictions now.
Okay,
I'll go for it.
There's going to be one team, and they're just going to be streaks ahead. It's all going to do with foil, of course, the rigs, of course. But and there'll be probably 3 teams ahead, everyone else. But no, there's going to be, if whoever's got the foil technology right and the advancement and the call it the curve that we've seen over years gone past, whoever's got that right is going to nail it. And it's going to be just boat speed. Could get a bit tricky with takeoffs, but at top end speed, I don't think we're ever going to see anything like it, or we've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
This will be the first cup where AI can be used in the design and a lot of the applications. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But, I mean, can't wait. Cannot wait. Looking forward to it massively. Yeah. It's
Nice.
I guess the only other... Yeah, that's it. That's it, is it? That's it?
That's it.
That's us.
No more finalies.
No more finalies.
Bullshit.
Just before I go. Not a finally, but it's just before I go.
Oh, love it. Love it. That's cool, boys.
Fantastic.
Another great week.
Saturday done and dusted here in Portugal.
Might be time for a real rosé.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I might go and do that. Cool, boys. Cool boys in the front, man. Right. We'll see you guys next week. And
get some tunes on.
To our listeners, thanks for joining us.
Hey, man. We'll see you next week, man. Guess where I'll be coming from.
Oh,
Man.
Caribbean. Cool. Cheers at barkarati.com for any communication.
I want you to get one of those the hats, the red, yellow, and green hats with the dreadlocks.
Definitely. I'll be doing it like that next week, man.
That's it.
I
And
want
remember,
you to go sailing with it.
jump onto Radix Nutrition and use Barkarati as your code word for a discount. And we'll see you all next week. I'll just sort these two idiots out.
I'm ready.